We live. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another mind-boggling, or shall I say, mind-altering episode of the best darn show on the internet, the Over Sharon Show. That's right, you heard it here first, everybody. We've been saying we're the best since we started. You know why? Because sorry if I'm trying to make my pillow. Because we know this about us.
Because
Because
we're biased.
we have positive self-talk. It's been positive self-talk the whole time. We were just saying it out loud, guys. Listen, we're not making claims, but if you're a fan of the show, you probably agree with us. And I'll tell you, after this, you know what? If, don't wait till after today's episode to make your decision on whether we're the best show on the internet. Anyway, Sharon, how are you today? How's it going?
I am good. Thank you. How are you?
Um, I'm doing every time somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm doing great. And lately, people have been like, "You're doing great." It's so funny. I'll go into like a gas station and get like some wonderful coconut water or whatever or something. Perhaps something to help me with my tobacco. Which, as again, we're on location, Sharon and I, and in different spots, but we're closer than we normally are. But anyway, I can't enjoy my tobacco like I normally do during the show. But I'll be all right because I go for hours. It's sometimes when I'm DJing, it's just 3 4 hours go by. It's I don't anyway. So what I was saying though, what was I saying? What was I talking
How are
about?
you doing when people ask you how you're
Oh
doing?
yeah,
You
how I'm
say
doing.
that
Yes,
you're
thank you.
great.
I've just been saying I'm doing great and stuff, and people are just like, "Whoa!" But it's led me to some good conversations. I had a conversation about Krishna and Arjuna at a tobacco shop with this lovely Indian lady that was there. This tiny, short Indian lady. She's just looking up at me like, "Wait, you know about Arjuna?" She's looking at me like, am I supposed to follow you now?" Yeah. Guys, I think I had almost had a Indian slave in real life because I probably could have got her if I really pressed it. She probably would have had to give me everything I wanted for free. Because technically, if you're a holy man, they just when you go to eat in India, they're just like, here you go, because you're on your journey. But I don't. That's happened to me before when I was in Florida, even before I had this long hair. This guy, I think I've told the story, but anyway, I don't press it because whatever God gives you the currency, you use it for your need, and then you get it. You just listen. I heard if you go in India, there's a place where they have crocodiles, and you open their mouths, and there's all the rupees you need. I maybe it's not true. Anyway, that's how I'm doing. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you.
I just have a lot because we didn't podcast last week, so I just have a lot of energy flowing, but it's good.
Yeah. And you've worked on a lot of things this past week or two,
Yeah.
or three or four. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah,
Been,
it's actually been an interesting, shall we say, spring, but I've worked through a lot of stuff and I feel like it's great. My born days coming up. I'm going to be in the realm for 49 years, could it be? So that'll be happening on the second day of July, I think, is what they tell me. And also, I did want to say there was a thought
according
I
to this Gregorian calendar.
oh, that's what I want to say too. Everybody, I'm now officially a married man. It's not just in the eyes of God, but in the eyes of whoever now. We hitched it. Sharon was there. It was a beautiful ceremony. I don't talk about a lot of my personal life here. I mean, I talk about like my past and stuff, but we'll just say it was beautiful. Sharon was there and it was a little different than the normal ceremony. So it was a perfect thing for Brandon. Like I didn't have anything to do with the creation of the ceremony when I read it. I was like, did I just did was this channeled for me? I was like, ah. So it was so great, such a lovely experience. And I'll just say that I've never felt closer to my lovely wife now, Elizabeth. And that's part of why we're on location. We're in a secret spot that no one knows about. We're secluded away, but there is salt water nearby, and I'll tell you, it's been so healing. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that. So congratulations to us. And hey, anybody, if you're and this has nothing to do with oversharing show. Go watch my Brandon Bonanzas I've been doing and check them out. I just wanted to give that shout out because I'm gonna be doing more. Anyway, Sharon and I
Yeah.
got to meet in real life again, or not meet, got to see each other in real life. So that's another reason why I think I'm so excited about today. And one day we're gonna do one in person and it's gonna change the realm, could it be? Anyway, I have a quote for if you want me to pull that up, unless you have anything else you'd like to say.
You have a quote, and I
Um,
will be pulling from the Lakshmi Oracle. What is it called? We're breaking pattern today and doing an Oracle card. We usually do tarot, but I decided to pull from this deck today. Brandon, as soon as I pulled it out, Brandon's like, I just met this Indian lady and talked to her about Arjuna. So,
I should go back there. I could probably be like, you will my follower now. No. You will
did you
send me.
tell her about the show?
I did. Oh,
Oh,
I tell people I listen, I'm at like I'll go to Burger King. Listen, sometimes you got to experience this realm and just have trust and faith. And once in a while, we just But I'll be like, you guys ever heard of the Over Sharon show? No. Anyway,
dude. Okay,
I'm
so
a
let me
man.
just quickly ask you because you said you tell everybody, and I'm pretty sure I met your mom's twin brother, Brian, this weekend and his wife. And I told them very briefly, and they didn't know about the show. And I said, "Oh, I'm surprised he's never told you." And they're like, "Oh, we don't visit very often or something."
Ah,
And you
ah.
can tell me later if you want to talk about
No,
that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just being hyperbolic. Everyone listen, I'm a comedian. I love my Uncle Brian and Aunt Martha. And let's just say, they're boomers. So they just probably forgot that I told them a million times in 2021. Because
Okay.
no, it's all right. I probably told them, but I get it because I think what it is like they're used to seeing like Brandon that telling jokes and what other stuff, but now we're talking about like self-healing. They're just not everybody. I don't know specifically. I'm not speaking for anybody, but I know in the past that some people have gotten bored by the show and then been like, I want to see what's on the news or whatever, or sports or anyway, but they're awesome. They're great people, and we have a good connection with them. My uncle used to take me fishing all the time when I was a kid. He was a very positive, masculine influence in my life. Thank you, Uncle Brian. You're the man. He took me shooting and hunting. We never got arrested for it. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, not hunting. I'm sorry, fishing and then like shooting at a range. I was trying to make a joke, but I poor joke on YouTube. But yeah, so they're great people. They live in New Hampshire. So I've been a hermit past few years, so that's another reason why. But I'll send
Yeah,
them a show. I know I've told them about it, but listen, they're boomers. They got a lot on them. No, I'm just kidding. I love them. It's cool that I make fun of him because he would pick on me too. He's my uncle. But just so everyone knows, I love him. My mom's twin brother, and they're both adopted together, the first
that's
set of twins in the state of Connecticut. So I've been told by my grandmother and grandfather, who were legends. My mom's parents, OMG. I mean, both of I've been so blessed, but so many legends I get to hear about. So anyway, I feel like I come from a long line of legends and Sharon too, but I'm getting off topic. Anyway, go on.
all right. You have a quote to read,
I
and
do. I'm
it's
just over Sharon.
you might just say it from memory, maybe.
But you know what? Look at how fast this guy works. You see this? When will we wander wildly with wonder, without wicked worldly worries?
I like it.
And this is by or Wicked Worry. And this is by Brandon. And this is by me, guys. I'm quoting myself. I came up with this. I'm a rapper, just so you guys know it. I'm like a suburban poet out here in these Milford streets. I live in Canton now. But anyway, yeah, I came up with this. Well, I'm gonna pull it back up because
Yes, please do.
I was heavily influenced by my lovely wife because I'm not going to talk about it too much, but she's a poet. If you know it, you do. If you don't, you'll know soon. She's a poet and she's amazing. And so I was just sitting in the room one night. I think she was probably already sleeping because I too people I'm like, I have these demons. I'm like, I'm not like you. I have demons inside me. And sometimes they keep me up and they won't escape until I draw a picture or make some rap lyrics. Anyway, and so I'm like, I wanted to go through questions. I like, Sharon and I love to ask questions. And I'm like, when? So I just started with this concept of when. And I was actually drawing something. I wasn't going to write. So I started to draw when, and then I just kept going with W's. And I'm like, when will we wander wildly with wonder? Like, when will we just wander wildly without wicked worldly worries? And I wanted all W's. And anyway, so I thought it was pretty cool and I wanted to share it. So I think I came up with this like last month or something, but
I like it. It's it's a great question, you know,
Yeah.
without wicked worldly worries. And we always talk about worry and fear and how, we don't need it. We might read something from a book I've been reading about fear, and so we'll maybe get into that.
Awesome. Would you like to pull a card and I could skim through the chat and say some hellos while you
Yes, please.
yeah. What is up, chat? What do we have? Let's see how many people it says. It says we have 5 people. That's amazing. 5 more than I would ever hope to have. No. Positive self-talk, everyone. Dude, New Hampshire is connected to almost literally everything. Yes, what's up, Josh? MS. Shout out to Tony. Thank you, Tony, on the congratulations. And MS, thank you on the congratulations. Josh, married hype. That's right. Brandon is styling on us with his hat. That's right. We have, and listen, I'm gonna give a shout out now to what's that? I am the worst. Anyway, I'll think of it and then redo that shout out. And what's his name? Joe Giuseppe Cosmic Lichens was in here. What's up? He was at our festivities as well. Thank you for coming. And and Kathleen was at the festivities. Hi. And Kathleen, uh, thank you so much. You're so amazing. She performed our ceremony. It was amazing. And we're just talking about the amazing time we had, and you get it, Kathleen. But you can say whatever you want in the chat. But anyway, yeah, so a few people are at the wedding were in here. It's really cool. And it's good to see people. We haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Last week we were, taking a vacation. It was our summer break for over Sharon, but we don't really plan to take too many breaks. I know my born day is Wednesday, but I don't put a lot of emphasis on it, and I have a lot to say. So guys, this is something I didn't say to Sharon either, but I am ready to talk. Don't worry about us skipping any more weeks. Like, my wife is so on board. She loves that I do this show, by the way. She thinks it's my outlet, and she thinks I'm a better person when I do it, because then I could just talk to the camera and not to her so much. And that's why she sometimes watches the show. But trust me, I've said this before, she doesn't need to. She could probably fill in, because she knows if she needed to, she could get a little beard mask and like hi everybody, like. Anyway, so I'm so excited for the summer of over Sharon. I think 2025 is we're going to do a big. So stay tuned, everyone, and subscribe. And I'll do a commercial. Morelawsmoreproblems.com. I did a commercial at my own ceremony, and then
Oh my God.
Kathleen gave a toast, and she did a commercial too for More Laws, More Problems over Sharon. Thank you, Kathleen. And shout out to my friend Dwayne, who spoke for me and talked about what an amazing person I am and how I can do anything I set my mind to. It's so great to see the support of people you've known for a long time who witnessed your change and also witness you gain these skills that no one else, like stand-up comedy and podcasting and building websites and all the things I've done. And then to talk about it in front of people and people who don't really know you, like, so it's nice that because there's people there like some friends of my wife that I know but not so well, or my wife's family, I know them, but they don't know me so well because they've only known me for a few years. So it's nice to have somebody that known me stand up there and just say these great things about me and be like, yeah, it's all true. That's right. And I just want to say this, and that's the last thing I'll say. He said a part where he's like, how Brandon's like never wrong, right? Everybody's like, can everyone just admit it? Like, he just wanted everyone in the room because he knew, because so many times I'll be like, I don't anymore, but I used to try to tell people like, hey, you might not want to do that, and he saw that. So it's nice to have that acknowledged in front of everyone. It's great. I'm like, thanks, dude. But again, I don't care anymore because it's all love now. And I see that people, forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do, is the attitude I want to have, the Jesus attitude to anyone. Because I don't, it's all about it's citing things that happen. A good friend of mine might do a tarot reading. I think he will. I got to reach out to him. My friend Smokey, shout out to him. I know he won't care. And I'm gonna say, yeah, I won't talk about it, but I have an idea to do with Smokey because me and him can talk. We have a lot of the same pop culture references. That's all. So we could probably have good conversations we could record. But anyway,
He's also like your same height.
yeah. So I could probably should have him on my show or something.
He's like your double.
He's my stunt double. He's like, I get him a
Yeah.
wig.
He's your stunt double. He just
That's
he
why it'd
just
be so
needs a
funny.
a wig, that's all. But he's your stunt double.
I'm gonna tell him you said that. I hope he's watching somehow. He might. He's working. Oh, I got a show. Watch it. I told him watch show anyway. So that's my commercial. More laws, more problems.
So
So thumbs up. You can be part of the Great Pyramid Scheme. I don't have a pyramid here. I am the pyramid. I got the hat. You can be part of the Great Pyramid Scheme for one thumbs up a week. All right, go ahead, Sharon.
So Josh says, who DJs for the DJ men? Well, Brandon's friend, and he said he called Brandon his best friend, which that was very, very cool. Very
Yeah.
sweet.
I have a few just
Dwayne.
so in case anyone's listening. There's a couple best friends I have, but he's definitely top of the list. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And he DJ'd because he's actually the one who owns the DJ business, and he DJ'd for Brandon.
In small backstory, I DJ'd his wedding in 2011
Oh,
when I
nice.
was still only 3 years in, like 20,
Wow.
2010. I was, and I emceed it and stuff. And maybe it was like 2013. I don't know what year it is now. But anyway, so he asked me if I wanted to be a guest or be a DJ, and he really wanted me to be the DJ. And then for him, I was like, I want you to be a guest, but I know you probably want to DJ. And he wanted to DJ, and he could still be a guest because he's so good. It was a small party, everybody like, so it was perfect. And I know he made the night like
He did. It
he
was
did so
good.
much behind the scenes. I don't want to talk because like we had to end it a little early because of a uh
That was
an act of God, can we say? Like there was some kind
yeah,
of leak and they had to end the place, but they wanted to shut us down like
dude.
30 minutes early and he got it to like 10 minutes. He's a saint. Like he was just so anyway. Dwayne, shout out to that guy. He's a great dude. He deserves nothing but the best in life.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool of him.
Anyway, yeah.
Um, MS asks if you have ever tried rape, or he said you should try, or hape. Um, it's a tobacco product that's blown up the nostrils. I've
Oh,
heard of it, and I think I kind of tried it one time at this one place, but I don't feel like I felt anything.
well, I'll try it. Top shelf smokies, says Kathleen. Yes. Yes, Kathleen. She gets it. Awesome. All right. Well, that's a
Yeah.
little recap on what we've been up to for a couple weeks. And now I got this cool hat and you know, and I'm happy to be at this Airbnb because the internet connection is insane. It says it's a place for professionals to relax, so they must have people work from home here because I feel like we
Mm.
could just start an internet business from here. Like anyway, it's crazy. Yes.
So I pulled number 25. It's Samayapuram Ma Mariaman. It's like Maria Man. Huh. Mother of all mothers. Samayapuram Mariaman is a powerful healing goddess who has enormous powers to cure. She is one of the many mother or Mariaman goddesses in southern India. Um, and has a very ancient temple in the town of Taruki, and one in Singapore. A fiercely protective goddess of women, she is included as the second Mariaman goddess in this oracle, as she asked to be included with Mariaman. Samayapura Mariaman is a form of both Parvati and Kali Ma.
Whoa.
Here's a channeled message from Samayapuram Mariaman. Yes, I am a strong goddess like Parvati, so no man should ever do wrong to a woman who prays to me for help for herself and her children. I can heal many persons too, so remember me always in your Friday prayers.
Yeah. Freya reminds me of a little.
Guidance from her. Love. Take special care if marriage is considered for you, and also consult an astrologer. How this is crazy. Praying to Samiyapura Mariaman for guidance and then waiting a while is your best option at present. All
This is
right.
gonna lead us right into the show, man. This is
Isn't this crazy? Abundance. You will always have the basic requirements of life, and soon you will find some more money coming to bring you comfort, joy, and pleasure. So give gratitude to Samyapuram Mariaman. Dude, some of the things that I plan on reading from this book that I'm reading lately, this is all related. It's crazy. Work or business. Your business will flourish or you will likely be promoted at work. Keep a calm mind and be patient as your best to continue on where you are at present. Education. Invest in your formal education if you are young or consider studying spiritual healing. Future. Your future is not yet clear in your mind, so help it by becoming more focused or seek wise guidance. Planning your life to be busy and exciting would be ideal for you.
this is speaking to me. So I know it looks like I'm just not paying attention. Sorry, everyone on the show. I'm dialed in and wow, it's speaking to me. But keep talking. I'll bring it back. I love it.
Blessings. Here are blessings from Samyapuram Mariaman, Mariaman and Parvati for healing. For healing. Place both the Samyapuram Mariaman and Mariaman cards in front of you along with Parvati. Write down specific healing requests for the part of your body that has been affected. Well, you don't have the cards, so I would say imagine that you have done that. And here's a mantra. Traditionally, small replicas of affected body parts are offered to Samyapuram in the temple donations box. So you can draw a sketch of the affected body parts and place it in a small box with some money to be given to a charity. Burn sandalwood incense and pray to the goddess to help heal you. Repeat this process for 4 days and ask each goddess to heal you again. And then on the fifth day, thank the goddesses and donate the money.
I love the donation part of it.
That's crazy because Brandon didn't tell you guys that he fell and he
Hey guys, on the night of my wedding, let's just say I didn't I had the place brought in this lovely mead and I only had one like about a glass slowly throughout the night 'cause that's how I enjoyed the mead and I was just having too much fun dancing honestly. But later in the night, I was just being so silly and I kind of because I'm very clumsy, I just fell at the Airbnb and it looked like I got really hurt because there's like a mark on my back, but it was so funny. I wasn't even like I think I was just tired a little bit, but I was like dancing around and being funny and whatever. So yeah, I didn't talk about it, but it's so funny because we talk about healing and just so everyone knows, so this looks pretty rough, right? I used to skateboard and a BMX bike and yeah, motorcycles, So this is like nothing. It didn't even really hurt. And my back is a little like this, but anyway, I was like, whatever. And so I've been putting raw honey on it since it happened. That was Sunday night. And I can tell you, because I know I've have a lot of experience with wounds out of my body and how it heals, even up to this day, because I'm just clumsy. Um, but this was, it hasn't been like this in a while. I want everyone to know. But it's been healing. So shout out to raw honey because this is about 3 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks of healing that you would get in about, in less than a week. So just putting raw honey on it every day. And then yesterday I let it air out. And then maybe later I'll put some on. I didn't put on it yesterday, but it's just crazy. And healing. That's why it's so apropos to this
yeah.
card, but other things because we'll get
And
into
other healing, like spiritual or whatever you want to call it, like non-physical healing. But
like the Marvin Gaye healing. When I get that feeling.
oh
No,
my
I'm just
God.
kidding. Hey, I just got married, everybody, so it's a joke, being hyperbolic, but maybe not. But yes, yeah, it's all. But I say that though, and I cut Sharon off, but to be funny because it's about love and heart healing too. It's all the same. But yeah, go ahead, Sharon. I'm sorry.
I think I was done.
Yeah. So we're really excited about today's topic because usually we talk about a fun story. We just did the Tao. Go check out our series, everybody, on the Tao Te Ching. And I think it's no surprise that Sharon and I have both been going with the flow. And I think because of the time it is right now. Oh, did you have anything you want to say about the card? I'm sorry. Were you still?
Oh, no, I mean I was just as we went along, it just sounded
Yeah.
very apropos to what we're talking about on the
Okay.
show and what happened over the weekend, with the wedding and everything that's been going on.
Look at the hat though with the trick of the light. Doesn't it look like it's just floating there?
Yeah,
Look,
that's the pyramid scheme right there.
yeah, we got the Crimson Pyramid scheme with the Edgar, my lovely Raven, that's on this
Oh, that's it.
peak moonstone. Yeah, this has been with us since the beginning. I got this crystal in 2021, and you guys wouldn't even believe it.
There he
I
is.
robbed it with the price I paid. But anyway,
The
peach moonstone,
Raven.
and they thought it was calcite or something, but it's peach moonstone, which is it goes into what we're talking about too. It's a new moon right now. Yesterday was a new moon. Everybody, we're in this energy of releasing, and I've been spending a lot of time at the beach. So anyway, to get back to what I was saying and to get into the topic of the show is healing. And I feel like the time we've been going through, because last time we were live, we talked about reality tunnels and how they're cementing and how you see people kind of freaking out about things, especially like if you're paying attention to what's going on. And if you have a screen in your house and you're glued to it, you're going to have a rough time right now. And we're really starting to see, I think, what's going on. And if you're not, look at Sharon and I. We look like rock stars over here. So I really feel like now's the time. Things are manifesting. I'll say something and the omens are there and it just kind of happens. So it's like a time you have to be really careful. And I feel like the victim thing now is manifesting in real time because I won't get into specifics obviously, but in my life I've seen people and even myself act kind of like a victim and then get like slapped by something, like, and we talk about this, how sometimes when you're in a cycle, something come at you, you might, almost crash your car and then you don't pay attention and then you do crash your car, or you might drop something and then you still don't pay attention. You're paying attention to your phone and you're driving and you hit something, right? It's like these cycles. And then literally could, like I said, you could be slapped by the universe. It's so crazy. But it's a good time to notice that because it's okay if you're being a victim. On this show, just in case people don't listen to the end, we like to tell you right away, it's all right. You got to do it till you're done. And I feel like that's kind of the overlying message of what we're going to be saying here, but we're going to get into some things. But anyway, so Sharon and I both feel like it's this kind of time with manifesting and stuff. And like anyone else in their life, you have trials and things that happen and hurdles that you overcome. And Sharon and I have been working through this in real time. It's been really interesting because, I don't want to speak for her, but I know I'll start to get into a situation where I feel some kind of way, to use Sharon's words, about something. I'm like, wow, is this happening? And then I'm like, man, wasn't I just on my show? Didn't I just talk about the Dow for like 56 hours? And it's all about going with the flow, and it's this spiritual battle that goes on. And then you're just like, all right, trust. And then you see four foxes and you're like, all right, there's a bird outside. It's like, I think it's a mockingbird, and there's a tree. We're near a beach, and there's this one tree near a marsh and right in front of the house. And it just sings all the time. It's so beautiful. I think it's a mockingbird though, because that's what she was saying. It does a bunch of different calls and even at night. So it's cool because it does it all night. We can't really hear it, but if we're out there and we're not that we're loud, but we're quieter than the bird at least, so people probably appreciate that we're out there having a smoke or something, they're like, at least the bird shut up. But for us, it's beautiful. It's so loud. But anyway, there's these signs everywhere when you just lay back and say, yeah, listen to the Oversharing show. I got a great pyramid scheme. What am I worried about? But that's kind of like the basis that we want to talk about. And Sharon has been reading some stuff that lines up with this perfectly, of course,
As it was happening.
real
I'm reading
time.
this I'm reading this book and I'm just like sending Brandon quotes and he's like busy off his mind. So he doesn't have time to read it. So I think you read it yesterday or today and you're just like, holy smokes, how this is like exactly what's going on.
It was literally the week of my wedding, and it was like abnormally hot. So I'm in the Northeast. It had been really mild spring. a lot of rain, and then all of a sudden summer was like, yo, I'm here, and it was 90s and humid. Like,
Horrible.
like this is how I
Fuck.
describe it. I used to tell people when I was in North Carolina in the Marines, I'd get out of work and it was 98 degrees, 90% humidity, and I walk outside and I'd get in my car and I sat down and I felt like I was in a dream. I'm just like I was like on the edge of passing out because it was so hot. Not when I was like 19, Now I'll be 49 years in this crazy realm. What is a year? Anyway, I'm working on a character, guys. Remember, I'm a comedian, hyperbolic, so I might act a little crazy, but it's this character that's coming out of me. I'm so excited about it because I've been getting on stage. I'm going to do it. Anyway, I felt like I was in a dream, and that's what the weather was like. Even though we're in Connecticut, it was like North Carolina weather, and it just came on. So, on top of the stress of having your wedding that week and hanging out and meeting new family, which is so wonderful. I met so many great people, and I really feel like I have the support. And another thing I want to say too, my family, because I know I talked a little bit and I was vague on things on the show, but like I love every member of my family. Like, so they're it's so amazing to see that I'm this robot genius. Everyone's like, I am, and it must be so hard to like live with me. Oh my God. Cause I do know, look at Snickers notes, because I'll say I know everything and it's a joke. I'm being hyperbolic, but what I mean is, I have a good intuition and I usually see when people are going to fuck up and I try to warn them. And my whole life, people have been like, you're killing my buzz. And now I get it. I'm like, you're just partying and I could party with them now. It's so fucking cool. But anyway, so now to see that I was raised by this amazing family, and I always say I was kind of raised by wolves, but in a way, they did their best and they did a great job. It's just
Well, as we're going to talk about on the show, you did that for yourself.
could it be I chose it? And what I also just want to say as a caveat, it's just that I was, back then in the 70s and 80s, you get like I had babysitters. I was like my cousins and stuff. I was with them and they were usually pretty responsible people, but around me, they treated me like an adult. So it was not like they did anything weird. It's just that, like we said before, could it be that I've been breaking up weed? But it was kind of like they were with, and I get it now because I meet kids, my friends. Shout out to Dwayne, his son is amazing. It's like his whole, I believe he's like 11, 12 now. What year is it? 11. Ever since he was 4 or 5, it was like talking to an adult. So I was probably like that. So to their, I'm not a victim, everyone. I'm just saying. So I was put in these situations, but it's great because I feel like that's what I needed. Because if I was raised, we talk about personality types, and I think certain personality types might spawn other personality types. And we're in a time now, or maybe it's always been this way, but I feel like we're in a time now where especially coming out of Generation X, there was a lot of question about parentage, like who is the parent. Now people are open. Now no one cares. It's like this cat is my dad. You know what I mean? Like no one cares. But back then there was a lot of judgment. It's a puritanical society, especially here in the Northeast in Connecticut. It's like, how dare you get pregnant? Wait, you had sex before you were married? It's like, yeah, dude, I'm a person. Anyway, so anyway, there was more judgment. But my point is the personality type thing kind of got shifted. So an INTP wasn't raised in a usual INTP fashion, could it be? But because of that, I have this wide variety of skills. I'm like Liam Neeson. I don't have a certain set of skills. I have a lot of all the skills, and I could talk to anybody. Sharon knows it. Elizabeth, since we've been in Milford, allegedly hanging out here, I've been driving around and talking to people, and she is just like, "Oh my God, I've seen another side of you." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like the mayor. I go to every gas station, and I'm like chill with every. I'm like, if they're Arab, I'm like Maktoub. If they're Indian, I'm like Krishna. If they're whatever they are, I got something for them. If they're Catholic. So I'm like, yeah, that's me, baby. Like, just wait till I start getting on a stage more and I do it to the world. I'm gonna take over and over Sharon. We're gonna imprison everyone and make them meditate. I'm just kidding.
Okay, brain.
Anywho, so I know it's been a long ramble over Sharon, but the reason I'm saying all this is just to kind of what was my original point? But anyway, I was
You're
getting there.
rambling. It's fine.
Hmm.
So, you know what's interesting about the weather thing? I noticed this because I felt like I was in places where, there was people and people were just like, "Oh my God, it's sweltering, I'm dying." And it's so disgustingly hot and gross. And yes, it was. Like it was.
Well, you're from
But
Arizona where it gets hotter. You want to describe a little bit difference, maybe? I mean, or you don't have to, but
it's the difference is that when it's a dry heat, let's say it's 80 degrees and it's a dry heat, there's no humidity, it feels refreshing. It feels cool. Like if there's like a little breeze, it feels good. If you're driving down the street with the windows open and it's 80 degrees and dry, it feels like refreshing. It doesn't feel hot
calling me
at,
Arizona, Sharon.
at all.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
But like if you're here in this area where sometimes it happens where it gets very humid and wet and then hot as well, the sun comes out and it's hot. Um,
You
or
feel like
even if
you're
the
in a
sun's not out,
dream.
your body is just like emanating this, beads of sweat, and you just feel everything is sticky and wet, and that is like an uncomfortable feeling, for most people. um, and I felt like I was more like witnessing it rather than like wallowing in it. Like maybe I was like, yeah, it's hot and it's sweltering, but like I I don't know why, but this time around I was just like, it's like it's fine. I guess it's okay. Like I can be in it. I'd rather be in the AC, but like if I needed to sit outside, I wasn't like dying or anything. I was just like, and then at one point, like I didn't have my water bottle with me, or like my water was low and I didn't want to drink tap water. And I didn't want to drink tepid water, like water that wasn't cold. So I just like sat there and I was like, okay, I guess I have to wait till I get home to have cold water, ice cold water. So I'm just going to sit here and just, everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Um,
What a
but yeah,
legend. Sorry.
what?
Yeah, what a legend, right? Yeah, that's exactly because that's how I'm just like, you know what? We're enjoying this weather. God provided it and it's crazy. So let's just enjoy
And
it.
it
But
won't always be this way, so, or whatever, even if it is, then you just enjoy it.
and the weirdest thing for me is, just a few months ago, we were in the same areas and it was like freezing, like 10 degrees, like 10 degrees above zero, it may be below wind chills. I just keep thinking about that and how it changes. And you're right, it just changes your perspective. And I feel like you get cooler, or when you're cold, you can get warmer because you're not
Yeah,
focused. I feel like
you
when you're shivering, you're a victim.
yeah, you have to, well, you don't have to, but like if you want to not feel like a victim, you just allow the feelings and watch it. Just like observe, you know?
I love how matter of fact we are
Interesting.
about this stuff too, because maybe that's one thing that maybe some people just are like, oh, because we're just like, are you shivering? You're a victim. Because most people would be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're so cold. And again, I understand that shivering is a way for your body to warm yourself up, and it's okay if you're doing it. We're not judging it. But there's other tricks and techniques that you can use. Could it be? And I've used in my own life anyway.
I mean, Wim Hof.
Accept it. We have Wim Hof. Like, just look into that, everybody. But when you accept it, you can just, or even take a cold shower. But
Yeah.
is it just like you're
I mean,
letting
the
go?
monks that sit on those cold wet towels and then they get what, another wet towel placed on them or something? Or how does that work where they're in the middle of the like freezing cold and they're like meditating in a meditative pose and they like steam the blankets basically with their own body heat or something, right?
I mean,
Or the
that's what I've
towels.
been told. It'll make clean.
Something like that.
I just want to, because we're talking about healing it. It's crazy because the two black kids are hanging out, and I've had these since 2012. And in the past few years, the female, she's the only female because we have four, and they're all boys now. They're her two that we started with, and they're mine now, but they're younger. Anyway, she's been giving the other ones a problem, but this whole vacation, it's like the ocean, and they grew up really close anyway because it's the sea. But she's been even I feel like healed, like my kitties have been, so like
Knickers?
yeah, they weren't able to get this close without her like hissing and trying to have space. and that's her cleaning herself, and this is Thumper just hanging out right there, which is cool. They've always got along, but it was more with the other boy kitties because they're like, oh, what's this girl? We're gonna hang out, and she runs away and hisses. But none of that's happened since we've been here, and
That's nuts.
yeah, one she got a little hissy. That's why I said it was like she's a little hissy and ran away, but it's cool. And it's weird because it mirrors healing that I've been going through. So it's like, huh, maybe it was an unconscious thing. So I could even see the behavior in my own animals as an omen if I was smart enough. Could it be?
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's unrest in the family, and if your family includes animals, your fur family.
Yeah. I
But it
mean,
could go for your children too. You can't. Yeah, and
yeah. I mean, as your aura or your energy field is changing, I mean, why wouldn't they be affected? Like they would probably sense it because they're more sensitive to those energies than even we realize.
coming over as you said that he was just at the window, but he came over to say hi. Say hi, buddy.
Hi.
That's so cool. Well, do you want to read a little bit from this, or did you have?
Yeah.
All right, I'll
I
pull it
can
up.
we go to chapter 2? It's about fear.
Yeah, I'll scroll ahead now so we don't have to do it for all the fine people. And then, oh, Revelation. Should we? What's that?
Oh, do you want to read some of that?
Oh, yeah, why not? Because we like to talk about different belief systems, and why not talk about the Christian Bible? All right, so I could read this. And then we could check the chat, I guess. And then we could go into that. We should probably, or you could scroll through if you want while I read. Then I looked, and behold, the Lamb was standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his name and the name of his father written on their foreheads. I like that, the name of his father. And I heard a voice from heaven like the sound of many waters and like the sound of loud thunder. And the voice which I heard was like the sound of harpists playing on their harps. I can't even explain exactly why. This is a huge synchronicity. Maybe after I read. Okay. And they sang a song. I'm sorry. And they sang a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures and the elders. And no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who had been purchased from the earth. Infinite love and gratitude. Shaman Lizzie, editor. Oh, what? What? So I know I heard a story recently, and I know it's just true of somebody speaking, and every time they spoke, there was lightning and thunder going. It's crazy. So that reminded me of that with the rains. But there's so much there. Yeah, maybe we should just let it sit unless you have something you want to say specifically about this quote.
Um, no, I don't really have anything specific to say about that right
Uh,
now.
oops.
Did you want to look through the chat?
Yeah, let's do that. That was pretty profound, though. I like that. All right. Cats are weird sometimes. Yeah, they are. I've been thinking about my revelations recently. Oh, good. Yes. Steam. It's crazy the omens in maybe it's just because we're egoically too. We us human or men and women, whatever we're called, we have a tendency to make things about ourselves. But I think reading these Bible quotes are really good because it just hits differently, because Sharon and I both when we were younger and as adults have read the Bible a lot, and at part of our life we're looking at it differently. So sometimes these quotes hit. I'm going to scroll down to also to chapter 2 you said.
Yeah. Chapter 2 is about fear.
Oh, here it is. Okay, boom. Fear, I must not fear. I recited the litany against fear the other day at CVS. We've been having some interesting. It's weird how people will just stare. Maybe it's just because we look like rock stars. I don't know, but I've been nice. I'm just silly.
MS in the chat said something when we were talking about this, the weather. He said it's like a continuous sweat lodge. That's a very good point because
Oh,
isn't a sweat lodge like a place to like release and heal and clear out,
toxin.
toxins, emotions, feeling, things.
And I would venture to say that
That
maybe that's
your wedding ceremony was a freaking sweat lodge.
my wedding ceremony was a sweat lodge, but it was amazing. Yes, because oh, it's funny you said that right before what I was going to say because I'm not referring to my wedding ceremony, but just people in general when that happens, some people aren't ready to release things, I think. So they might it's just like we said in the subtitle, and it's something we got from Fortune Saint Germain, which is you can learn your lessons here through suffering or through joy. Could it be? So we're making this all about learning our lessons through joy, and even if you do suffer, you can use that suffering to go forward as validation that you were doing it wrong, and now you're on the right path because you're not suffering, right? That's even a simple way to do it. So I feel like when the heat hit this area, that's maybe also why people are acting a little crazy because this stuff might be coming up. And also, it's like it takes you to your limits. Really, it's like when they test cars or whatever, they test them to the extremes. They take them to like the Mojave Desert and
Proving
Nevada.
grounds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good proving ground, exactly, especially because it was so chill. No one was ready for it, except
Oh, yeah.
people with the right frame of mind. Though we got through it just fine.
Dude, that's nuts. That was a proving grounds. That's crazy.
Yeah, and this is
Like right before and right during your wedding. It was a proving grounds.
and that's why you can say because the weather was so nice leading up to it, and we had just to give context, we were gonna have it. We had an outside ceremony near the water, so we were hoping it would be cool and not really hot. We didn't even mind if it rained a little, we liked the rain, and it ended up being just a sweltering. And there's trees though, at least,
A
so
sweltering sweat lodge.
sweltering sweat lodge. But instead of being like why, we just are like, oh, this is why because we
Just
really
go with
needed
the
to.
flow. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was I would say beautiful. That's what
Well,
made.
and then the crazy thing was because of that same weather, the the transformer for the building was leaking and they had to shut power to the whole building and close down the wedding a little earlier than, you know,
Yeah,
which was actually fortuitous because of the situation that was going on. So it just happened to be good for
yeah,
them.
it worked out perfectly because we were just so tired toward the end, and
Yeah.
and we ended. It was just 10 minutes, so it was supposed to be longer. But my lovely friend, we got it fixed. But anyway, so yeah, it was great because it was like a chance for us to have some peace, and we did a lot and had a great time, and everyone got together and it was beautiful. So it worked out perfectly. But you could see in the moment where we could have been victims, and that's why we want to talk about this because hey, it was literally my wedding day and all these silly things are happening. So I could have spiraled, my lovely wife could have spiraled, but we just kept going, you know what, maybe these are just tests and we're gonna go through them. And now we're like, oh, we have this amazing bond because we realized, even if things didn't go, I mean, I guess everything went according to plan. It's weird to say, but I'm just saying it wasn't like ideal conditions. And
Maybe not what you expected,
yeah,
but
like it just got 90 the second it was perfect until my day, and it was 90 now in the sun. Yeah, that's all I mean. Stuff like that. Everyone like anyway, it was a great experience. So I just wanted to bring that other aspect in. And Sharon was there, which made it even better. And Cody, I love Cody. And so many great people in my life. All right, so yes, we'll bring it up now. I think that was a nice little banter. But yeah, Sharon found so this is amazing stuff that Sharon found as everyone's going through all this healing energy, and the new moon just came, and the moon was waning. All right.
okay, so I'll read some of this. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
So this is from chapter 2 of this book called Creation is Finished by a guy named Pete Sapper. I've never heard of him or even like there was a guy that he referenced that he learned from and I forgot his name, but I hadn't heard of him either. But it's pretty much all the same stuff we talk about on the show without like having ever really read it necessarily, but it's all here. Um, so this book or this chapter is about fear. It says the illusion of fear. The only thing that you're going to find in the unknown is more of yourself. And so when you fear the unknown, right? So he's basically saying that you're fearing something that is really just more of you and more experiences that are going to connect you with more aspects of yourself. There is only expansion, power, and more of yourself in the unknown because you are the only thing that is here. When you allow yourself to let go of fear, you will come to know that you are always divinely protected and safe. And isn't that what people fear, right? That they're not protected or they're not safe, right? Fear is the main trick up the sleeve of the quote, dark forces that we all put into power. So we could have this. So, sorry, I'll read that again. Fear is the main trick up the sleeve of the dark forces that we all put into power so that we could have this transcendent experience. This hand is being played to help us to access more of ourselves. The problem is, most of us are carrying this fear in our energy field and simultaneously repressing it. We are we are not allowing ourselves to feel and process it without having the need to create a story about it.
Sorry, I gotta mute.
Isn't that what Spoons
Yeah.
always talks about, like writing a story about something?
Uh, it goes back to, hang on me. It goes back to what we're always saying and what like Alan Watts idea of like living in the real reality or the symbolic reality. Are you trying or are you doing? And that's so right, because when you're trying and living in the symbolic reality, you have to create this story about woe is me or whatever the story is, right? You all good over there? Did I lose you? So I think that's really what's going on. Let's see. Um, oh, all right, yeah, no problem. I can keep talking.
Sorry, I didn't mute I muted myself. I
Okay.
just everything's fine. I was just gonna close the window or
Oh yeah,
heard
yeah,
noise
no
inside.
problem. Yeah, yeah, cool. So I just wanted to say that, yeah, it's anything with the ego that you're creating a story or are you just a witness? And again, it doesn't matter what level you're at, but as you become the witness, you start to say things like, gee, isn't this heat intense and crazy? But wow, I guess God wanted me to experience it for some reason. Maybe he wanted me to feel like I was in a dream all day. But yeah, instead of going, why is it so hot? Right. I wanted to be nicer today. Yeah. So anyway, I think we talked about that earlier, but I love that. It's perfect. All right. I'll mute myself so we don't.
All right. It says, we must understand that we are nothing more than the awareness of what's happening with our human character. We are the writer, director, and the main character of the movie script. We blueprinted this play before we incarnated here. And I think that's funny because, like, I've been saying, I think I said it, I don't know if it was the last show or the show before, but how I like sometimes will like take myself back and like be the observer of my story, my play, my movie, whatever. And I, you know, observe that what I'm doing is basically, the story that I'm writing. And, I choose to do whatever, be whatever. And I can choose my words, I can choose my response, my behavior. So it's just funny that it said that. And I had just recently said that on the show.
There's nothing to say. Here come these omens. All right.
I'll keep reading. We can allow fear to be there for as long as it needs to be to offer us the wisdom that it's going to connect us with. And I like that because I maybe I'll tell another story later,
Uh,
but like I know maybe it's not fear or whatever feeling, but it's okay to allow yourself to be in a state of whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing. and be present with it and allow it and don't judge yourself for it because you're human. You're a 3D experience. You're experiencing this place. And so if, something happens that pisses you off, well, be pissed off. Let it piss you off. Let it just sit with it. Be angry. Go through the motions. Um, I'll just briefly say that I experienced that recently where something happened and I was furious. I rarely get so angry. I was just really upset, really pissed off. Um, but it's when I get pissed off, sometimes I just want to air it out. I just want to talk about it. I just want to explain how angry I am and meh, just get upset and like I don't throw anything. I don't hit anything. I'm not violent. I just want to shout it out, and just let people know that I'm upset or whoever's around me. And so I was annoying Cody basically with my anger and just being annoyed. And and it's funny because I was explaining myself as it was happening. I was like, well, I'm just telling you because I blah, 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 like, like, just let me be angry. Stop trying to find a solution for me.
You're killing my buzz, man. This
Oh,
adrenaline feels great. Oh yeah, we could talk
yeah.
about that.
But like I got through that. Addressed whatever it was that was making me upset. And I I noticed that I was thinking about that. It came back up like I was thinking about it, like what had happened. And I wasn't angry at the other person. I wasn't like, I didn't hate the other person. Um, and I just was like, it is what it is. It happened. And, you know, I don't know if it'll happen again, but I guess I'll just, whatever happens, I'll deal with it at that moment. But like this book is basically saying later on, you might see if we read that part, but like if your energy is about that, then it'll come back. Like, but if it's not, it just won't. It just won't come back. That whatever that's going on, it's just not going to come back. So it's basically because of like a fear of something, you know? Oh, you're muted again.
Could it be that what you fear that you attract?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even
What you resist,
subconsciously without knowing.
what you resist persists. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about. Like, what's the other one I was gonna say? Yeah, it's like you're
Oh,
praying.
where your energy goes. Wait, what is it?
Where your attention goes, your energy.
Energy
Like,
flows. That's right.
and I might have to amend the litany against fear from Dune because he's like, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. But I'm gonna be like, I must not fear. But it's okay if I do. All right, it's okay.
Yeah.
Fear, because fear is the mind killer. Is that and then you can do the rest.
Yeah.
I must not, but it's okay if I do.
Yeah. More like I shouldn't have to fear because
Yeah,
fear's the mind killer.
but
If
it's all
I
right.
do, then just go with it. Go with the flow. Let it happen.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, all right. Let me bring this back up. Here we go.
Okay.
Where I'm looking down for the button. I'm silly. I'm looking in the real world. All right, here we go.
Do you know someone in the chat? I think they said hi to you.
Uh,
I'll
uh,
keep reading.
oh yeah, what's up, Chris? What's going on? Yeah, then move on. That's great. What's up, Chris? How's it going? I just got married, Chris, on Sunday. Yay. And we're just kind of going through some stuff about victim narrative versus victor and, the normal overshare and stuff we talk about and making people laugh. I'm glad you're here in the chat. Hang out, see what's up. Yeah, go through the emotions, he says. Perfect, perfect. All right. So you can, oh, I have this. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
I'll keep reading. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm in that little second part of the chapter thing there. When we don't acknowledge our fear to release our fear, we turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms like addictions, distractions, toxic relationships, or settling for crappy situations in our lives. And I think I can relate and I can acknowledge that because like when that happened, I just let it out. I was just like, I'm pissed. This is why I'm pissed. Maybe I don't understand whatever's going on, but I'm pissed, you know. And at first it was about this person, like I'm pissed off at this person because XYZ. And then but I didn't like bottle it in and go drink and go whatever. I didn't go do stuff like that. I just immediately started addressing like, okay, why am I upset? What happened? What is, and I really did try to think to myself, what about this situation am I upset about? Like, what is it? Like, did it really do me any harm? No. Like just addressing those things. And um, what was it? What did I feel? Well, I felt disrespected. That's what I felt. That's why I was upset, XYZ. So, but is that really hurting me, or is that my emotion? That's mine. That's no one else's. So, you know, all those things.
No, that's great. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going if
Yeah,
you got more.
I'm done. I think.
I think that's an amazing way to look at it. And again, everyone is if people ask us, "Do you get paid for doing your podcast?" Like, yeah, now I'm a much better person to be around. And it looks like my cat on my shoulder. That's so cool. But yeah, that's an amazing way to look at things when they happen to you. And even to look at it that way is a victim kind of because really things are just happening, man. And what you said before about how we kind of could it be that we choose these roles that we are in life, we choose who we're going to be associated with and who our parents are. And even if there isn't a point where we're consciously being choosing, we're like, oh, like selecting from a menu, maybe it's not like that, but this could be an allegory for how it happens because it's a different realm, perhaps in your energy. So
Yeah, your
maybe you're just
energy
distracted where you need to go because
fell into the same energy. It just like
a polar opposite because that's what attracts. Opposites attract. So that's why you ended up
that
with your
too.
mom who just can't figure it out. Not you, Sharon, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying whoever, or your dad who's crazy, or your brother, you just want to, it's like, oh, maybe it's because you can do that work. And isn't it Alan Watts, right? Who said that if you think you're good, or whoever it was that said, if you think you're good with your self work, go spend a week with your family. And
I think
again,
Ram Dass said that.
I have nothing but love for my family. I'm not the guys, just so everyone knows, I am not passive aggressive. I'm just aggressive. I'm not like, we're just saying in general, because people in spiritual work seem, everyone seems to be a high master until they have to go deal with their family. But that's why it's because I feel like Sharon and I have great relationships with our family too. So that's another amazing thing. But anyway, it's always, you never know. It gets messy, but that's, I think, what we're here to overcome. And what they're saying in this book is just like,
Yeah. Well, if we may get to it later, but this book says that, many of us who are, you know, onto these topics right now, we're born into family systems that were highly activating to our nervous system. That's what it says. So,
oh, that makes
but
sense. And that's what all the adrenaline's about. So again, it's okay to do what you got to do until you're done doing it. I mean, could it be, right?
yeah.
All right, I'll bring this back. And let me know at any point when you want me to read. I love that you're reading, but if you need a break or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I keep saying most of that fear that we hold on to comes from fearing the unknown. It is completely natural if you're stuck on the idea that you are your human character and not the awareness of the human character. If
Mm,
you still think that you are the movie character and that you are the one who's being held in this field of fear, you'll end up avoiding situations in life. Keep going.
yeah. Oh,
That your higher mind and higher self have created to get you in touch with processing that fear. So, this book's really talking about your higher self knowing and having chosen these experiences in order to help you get over them. And I think the next chapter talks about that. It's the your life purpose.
all right. I'll scroll down to that. There it is. Yeah, I like it to frame it in this way instead of saying like you get to choose before, but you frame it in this way sounds better because your higher self, because in a way you can look at how your higher self is God. If you're an aspect of God, we're not saying everybody that we are God. We're just saying if we're an aspect, just as a
Mhm.
character in a story is an aspect of the author. If in that way we are an aspect of God, then yeah, what else would it be but the author who's writing the story? And we talk about, we just talked about how you try to write this story in your head, right, about what's going on. And that's the trick. You got to let God be the author and you just be the character and play your part. And you don't feel bad about it. You don't feel bad about yourself. You just kind of play the part you were given, with what do they say? Like with joy, with happiness. You just play your part. And I feel like that's how it falls into line. So yeah. I don't know if I was at a bigger point. But... All right, I'm on three now. Oh, what happened? It scrolled away. Okay, yeah, chapter three. Here we go. All right.
All right, chapter 3 is called Your Life Purpose. It says, Revealing Your Hidden Power. If you want to know why you incarnated, and if you want to know which areas of your life your higher self desires to develop true mastery in, seeing yourself as a powerful creator in overcoming the said obstacles and challenges that you set out for yourself in this lifetime. Sorry, this is a long sentence. Just look at the places where you've struggled the most. I'll
Oh,
read, let me just go back. I'm just going to read that again, but without the all the extra words.
okay.
If you want to know why you incarnated, and if you want to know which areas of your life your higher self desires to develop true mastery in, just look at the places where you've struggled the most. Look in the places that have caused you the most pain. Look in the places where you've suffered the most.
Yeah, but Sharon, I don't want to do that. Did you know the TV's on and I could go watch sports
Smoke,
ball?
drink, watch basketball, go to a movie.
And I'm glad you said drink because this is the thing I want to talk about too. It's so highly connected with victim narrative because I feel like there's certain things like anything's a tool, even drinking, you could channel spirits. It just depends on what you're doing when you're drinking. Where's your mind? It's the same thing with tobacco, with weed, with
Or
crack.
where are you at in your life?
Where you at in your life? What are you doing? Are you making realizations? Are you just a victim, or are you like, oh wow, like oh my god, So yeah, that's and again, it doesn't matter where you are. The way we feel, anyone, even if you are being in the escapism and you're drinking and all this stuff, you're where you need to be to see what you need to do and get sick of it so you can figure out what else you want to do in the better path. But I just want to say that because sometimes we talk about different forms of escapism, but I feel like anything could really be used if you're doing it in a conscious way. Even Ram Dass is like, if you're having sex, just be conscious of it, and whatever you're doing, just be in the moment. He's like, you want to eat that dessert, just eat it consciously, and you can use that as spiritual work. Brandon, are you trying to say
Dude, this is nuts. It's
that?
so crazy.
Yeah, Brandon, are you trying to say that anything could be spiritual work as long as you do it consciously? Yeah, Brandon, I think that's what I'm trying to say. Could it be? Yeah, sorry.
It's nuts. It's funny you said the thing about like if you want to eat that dessert or whatever. Because lately I feel like even the food and like eating has become more conscious for me and more like I don't know how to say. I feel like I used to be more prone to eat more just because it was there, you know, and I'm a little bit better at it now where I'm just like, you know what, my belly is full. Like I don't really need any more. When I used to just like I would see the food and I'd be like, I'm full, but it's so good and I would just keep eating
So
it.
good.
And
Yeah.
like so, but now I'm a little better at it where I'm just like, I'm full. Like my belly is full. Like I really can't have any more. And it's not, I'm not like doing it because I'm like, oh, I'm better than you. I can, No, I'm just like, I just can't. I physically
But
can't.
that, for some reason, I don't want to sound like they're gonna. That's what people, and this is when you talk about truth, people relate it and they make it about themselves and like, don't you want to eat more? And I'm like, I'm good. But yeah, go ahead. No, you're
Yeah,
kind
no, I'm just saying I've noticed that recently too, that I'm just a little bit better at it. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm noticing that. And then sometimes like I used to be more like where like if somebody would offer me something and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm fasting. I've closed my window. I'm not going to eat that right now or whatever." Like I'm a little bit more lax about that now because I'm like you said, you if you do it consciously, it can all be used for good, right? Like you just said. So I'm
of
glad you said that
100%.
because like now, like the other day we went to pick up some friends from the airport and they gave us some little chocolates that they had on the plane. And I was like, I usually I would just wait. I would save them for the next day or for when I was gonna, snack on something, consciously. But I was like, you know what? They just gave them to us right now. I'm just gonna have, and I gave them some to Cody and I had one. I was like, these are great, like
There's no time better than now because they could melt, you know? And yeah, it's like, yeah, I forgot those things, but yeah, no, no, it'll come back. You nailed it there because, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Because you're like, usually I'll say I'm fasting, but then and then you're like, but now, and my thought was, it's that plus also it's like, but who's the person that's fasting? Who's this one inside me who's fasting? So you have these thoughts too. You're like, you hear yourself say things, and you're like, ugh, do I sound like that? Am I really like, I like to fast because I'm better than you? Like you start to hear how it's coming across to people, and that's just because
yeah, and it
in
could come across
compassion for people.
exactly.
You start to having compassion for people because it's not our fault, but we've been taught this whole time to view this experience as we're kind of the center of it, in this society. That's why when you meet people from other societies and you're like, why are they so nice? It's because their whole life they've been taught to, that they're not the center of everything. And that's kind of what happens in our culture, but it's fine. That's where we find ourselves.
There's a balance too, right? If maybe those people don't do a lot of self-care, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what you could get into that when you start to do self-care. That's when you start to see that, oh, maybe the person that's delivering my mail is a real person. I should look at him in the eye and say, "Hi, how are you doing?" Stuff like that. But yeah, my broader point really was just say you start to get sick of your own behavior and the way you're even talking, and you're like, "Who is this?" Right? That's part of what shadow work is. But excuse me, I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Sharon too. And then again, everything's just all energy. I was like talking about Burger King earlier. Technically, it's just energy, right? It's just ones and zeros, they would tell you, those people that think we're in a simulation or just energy or whatever. So I think if you don't resist it, because the problem is, again, it's just like what Sharon said. He was reading in the last chapter. When you're eating fast food or smoking a cigarette or doing something that you think or that you know for sure is bad for you, but you're engaging in the behavior anyway, that's gotta, I think there's what does the damage. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
was going to say as well because I think we've been going. We're not done quite yet, but I feel like we have more to say. Maybe we should do a part 2 on this next week. I don't know how you feel, and we could read more too, unless there was not that much more you had to read. But I don't know. It's flowing so well. What do you think?
I mean, we could keep reading for a little bit, and then, yeah, if there's still more to read, we could do another show.
And maybe you can even find more in here to read because this is basically saying what we say a lot, but in a really nice way, and just the way that things are lining up in our lives.
Yeah,
Well, let's see what happens. We'll go with the flow, everybody.
yeah.
What do you think, Chat GPT? I've been able to internet fast, yes, but not for full multiple days. I eat. Oh, intermittent. I thought he said internet. I can't read. I've been internet fasting, everybody. I've been I just found out the Wi-Fi password here because I just been, and Sharon knows, trust me, but I think it's important to do all kinds of fasting and break patterns. I haven't even drank coffee. Today was the first day I just went to a place and had a good coffee. I didn't bring my bulletproof, whatever coffee, butter coffee with me since I've been here. I'm like fasting, everything, just changing it up. I've been doing a little kombucha in the kombucha. I've been eating earlier just now, just to do a reset, change it up. And let me tell you guys, you change patterns and God puts things in your way or whatever. And you're just like, whoa. So
Yeah. Big pattern.
because it's like, who is this guy who, oh, I drink bulletproof coffee every day? Who drinks bulletproof coffee? Well, not me anymore.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me of Ram Dass. All right, let's bring this out. All right.
All right. So I left off on these are the places where your soul wants to develop mastery. That is huge. So the places where you've struggled the most are the places where your soul wants to develop mastery. Your higher self wanted you to see yourself in the act of overcoming these challenges that you gave to yourself. It is important to understand that you are the creator of these challenges. You are not a victim of anything.
Uh,
When you incarnated, you set out a blueprint of what you wanted to master, and then you came down here in the lower frequencies of the physical universe where the energies are so slow and dense. So you could see yourself in the act of becoming masterful and overcoming your greatest challenges. The universe is a mirror that reflects your relationship to it. It is a mirror that mirrors and amplifies your internal state of being. No matter what your conditions are right now, you are not limited in any way, shape, or form. You can develop a wealthy mindset, let go of poverty mentality, and stop seeing things as outside of yourself. This is an example he uses this, wealth, because a lot of people struggle with that.
yeah, it's a great example in the society for sure.
Yeah. Remember, in your perception of reality, you are creating it. Start perceiving yourself as a whole, perfect, and complete being of light, a divine fractal of God, all that is and lacking nothing. You are whole and complete. You are everything, and everything is within you. And when I read that, it reminded me of that song that's like, you are everything, and everything is you. Now, that old song, is it
Whitney
like,
Houston.
no, it's like,
I
I'll have
know
to
the
look
song.
it up,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
but
Yeah,
it's an
you're
old
right. It
song.
wasn't Whitney, but what was I gonna say? That was so yeah, you know what I want to say here. So all this stuff, somebody can hear this and read it and be like, I see what you're saying, but it kind of sounds like spiritual mumbo jumbo. And even somebody who's like a spiritual person be like, oh, these are all spiritual tenets, and I'm a very, Sharon and I are very spiritual people, and I have this wizard hat, and look at these black cats back there and these crystals. But this is actually like so down to earth stuff. You could just not even be a spiritual person and say, you translate this a little bit, and it's like you can develop a wealthy mindset, let go of poverty mentality, stop seeing this. So, it's he's saying that the universe is a mirror that reflects your relationship to it. And that sounds kind of up there, right? But really, it's just saying, hey, you get out of it what you put into it. If you work hard, yes, things will happen and you'll be tested and you might go into ruin. But if you keep this positive mindset, no matter what, even if the universe isn't testing us and we really are on a rock floating through space, maybe that's the case. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It would still work. So, what I'm saying is, this principle works in a physical reality as well, right? Because it's a spiritual, so it works up and down, as above, so below. But if you have a tendency, a law that looks like something exists in this physical, like it's a physical law, does it translate to the spiritual? No, probably not, because this is an illusion. There's a mirror reflection of it, yeah, but there's because there's no such thing. Because the whole problem is the basis of a physical reality is that you can destroy things and things can be destroyed and disappear, which we all know is all energy and it's not going anywhere. Anyway, but I like it because you can put it into a physical mindset. You can make this make sense to somebody who has a physical view of the world, a worldview where they're like, oh, yeah, matter's the most important thing. It really matters.
Yeah, there was something I was going to say, but
Yeah, then I just,
I don't remember what it was. Maybe if you bring up the thing, I'll remember. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Also, I looked up the song. It's the Stylistics. It's
Yes.
like an old song.
And how's it go again? I'll
Um,
let you say, but it slipped my
it's
mind.
like, you are everything, and everything
Everything
is
is
you.
you.
Oh, you. I think J-Lo did like a remix of it. She like sampled it for
That's
this.
what it was.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, Sharon, how dare you? Just kidding. I
yeah.
just want to express I'm feeling a really wave. It's 4:33 and it was just 4:33 and 33 seconds. And
Wow.
it's a wave of gratitude for everyone in the chat. We're not wrapping the show. I'm just gonna say, uh, great wave of gratitude and also for Sharon and just for the God of the universe because I'm able to sit here. It looks like there's a cat on my shoulder. And I'm just able to sit here and express my point of view and to talk about some healing moments that I've had and share it with amazing people that want to see nothing but the best for both of us. It's so amazing. And I'm so grateful because, I used to be a podcaster. I've been podcasting since 2014 and I've always had cool people listening to the show and stuff, but I don't think I've ever had a community of people, even if it's, let's see how many people we have in the chat right now. We have 8 people. Look at that. And I know more will watch and stuff. So it's so great to have this little community of people. And remember, everyone in the future who's watching this, who's like, oh my God, they nailed it. Stop worshiping us. Remember, just because I have a cat and a hat and they can float on my shoulder, don't worship us. It's not about that. It's just about how's your experience? Are you a victim or are you learning from these crazy things that are happening to us that you would never imagine? These things that are begging you to say, I'm such a victim. Something might happen to you, and you could say, man, I could get a lot of victim. Like, I could say, look what happened to me on my wedding night. I took a spill. Thank God for raw honey again. Anyone that tuned in because this is a little worse. But I could be like, I was such a victim. And look how bad I got hurt. Right. But no, I was like, what can I learn? Um, so I think that's really what it's about, being grateful. So that's why I'm wrap this little rant up and say I'm very grateful for all you guys for witnessing all this stuff and hanging out and just being part of the vibe. Right, you're creating the vibe with us. Thank you.
I second the gratefulness. Thank you.
All right, let's read a little more. I like this. And again, this how crazy that you came across this.
Yeah, it's very yeah, so this whole like this concept of like it says you can develop a wealthy mindset. This is like I said, he's giving you an example, but you can replace that with anything that you've struggled with, right? Well, some people have struggled with like um, oh, they constantly talk about how, quote, poor they are, or how they don't have money, or how they can't find a job, or whatever, right? There's a lot of people who do that. But I think it's a self fulfilling prophecy when people do that, you know? Could it be that you can stop that behavior of whatever it is, right? If you're, let's say you're down on yourself about your self esteem and you think that you're XYZ, I don't like this XYZ about myself, and you're constantly focused on it. Well, you're focused on it, where your attention goes, energy flows, so that you're always going to be focused on that and it's always going to bother you. But could it be that if you changed that and changed your mind about it, that it would be different? And it's always perspective. It's always perspective. Like I've said on many different shows, I've changed my perspective on several things, like um, whether I liked ginger. I used to dislike ginger. I couldn't eat it. I just no. But I love it now, you know. And riding roller coasters when I was young, I was a teenager and I was afraid. I was afraid of them. But I told myself, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to like it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be great. I mean, other people would love to try this. Why am I afraid? There's nothing to fear. I'm okay. Everything's going to be okay. And guess what? I freaking loved it. And I haven't had a chance to really go to an amusement park in a while, but I would try. I would try again, get on a cool roller coaster, you know?
Oh, that's a great idea. I don't want to give it away, but the best days are to go are days like today when it looks like it's going to rain and it had been hot and well, not that quite as hot, but you get a series of nice days and then you get one day in the middle of the week where it's rainy a little bit, but the park's still open. Uh, I love what you said though. It's so crazy. What was I going to say specifically? I don't even know. I remember what I wanted to say. So, as you were saying that right for like a second because I was dialed in. But we have 9 viewers. We've been going for almost an hour and a half, probably a little short of that, right? And we're at an average of 18 views. It says here, but our average view duration is like 32 minutes. That is insane as far as analytics go. I mean,
Yeah.
it means that everyone that's watching is just like dialed in, and a couple people might have clicked in and out or something. But for yeah, so out of the 18 views, maybe the nine, so maybe half of them are watching the whole time. And whatever. Anyway, it's pretty cool that everyone's so dedicated when they're watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying that to give a shout out to all our fans, not to
Yeah. Great,
start
great
ego.
chat,
We don't.
everybody.
Yeah, no,
Best
just
darn chat on the internet.
I'm just showing the quality of our people. Yeah, you were everything, and everything was in you. Did you want to keep reading on this thing?
Sure.
Yeah. I'll probably have to go a little sooner because I think I have to go to the bathroom. Not like now, but I'm just
Okay.
sorry, too much info. But no, normally I'm sitting out
How
when I'm
much longer do you want to go? Like 10,
yeah,
15,
like
20?
that's what I'm thinking 10, 15 is on in that range, if that's
Okay.
cool. But yeah. Standing's different. I don't get me wrong, this has been nice to sit. I feel like I've been chilling and just expressing everything and just sitting back and chill relaxing, but it'd be cool to get back to standing too. Let's see. All right. I remember how to work Zoom, everybody. There we go. Okay. And that's it.
All right.
So
When
we
you understand that everything is within, you can go within and you can pluck that string, in the words of Daniel Scranton. You can pluck that string or that vibration called abundance, just like plucking a guitar. You can vibrate that to the universe and then get that reflection, provided you can hold that vibration. The reason it is easy to maintain or accumulate wealth when you've been born into a wealthy family is because you're surrounded by wealth. The challenge that many of us have given ourselves this lifetime is to become abundant without having been surrounded by it. There is a reason why you created a scenario for yourself where you were not surrounded by abundance. You wanted to force yourself to find the vibration of abundance. Pluck that string, hold that frequency, and emanate that vibration to the universe so that you could get the reflection. Because we are in the third dimension where the energy is so slow and dense, it is not enough to just go in and find the vibration of abundance and pluck that string. You have to hold that frequency. You have to emanate that vibration to the universe long enough for it to catch up. This is about developing mastery. It's not the end goal, it's not the manifestation. It's not the twin flame or the money or the soulmate or the business partner. It's not the end result that matters. It's the process of developing mastery. And that's
oh,
like we talk about, like the flow, going with the flow. Like we're wondering about the end goal, right? But like, where are we right now? We're not there. We're here. And now is all that exists, the present moment.
Becoming, it's exactly because we're in a fluid universe. Everything's always changing. So there's no it to become. And we get tricked into thinking that there's something we need to do to become. When could it be that we already are where we're supposed to be? If we weren't, we wouldn't be that way. Somebody said to me recently, they're like, "Oh, I need some validation on how this thing went down." I'm like, "It happened. That's your validation." And they were like, "You're so smart." No.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I'm just being hyperbolic, everybody. I was talking to my cat. But yeah, no, I think that's what, if it's written down, you can't change it. What are you gonna do? But this is blowing my mind. It's so great.
All right, I'll keep reading a little more
Yeah.
while you roll up your smokes. I
Yeah.
think that's what you really want to do. You don't need to use the restroom.
No, no,
I'm
honestly,
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
oh yeah, no, yeah. But just so you know, I would never lie about the use of the restroom. No, I'm good though. I can hold it for a while. It's just usually when I'm standing, I think it's because I'm sitting with the pants situation. It's just, yeah, I could probably, yeah, but plus I
You're
got
fine. You're fine.
some,
All right.
I'm hangry now that I don't have my coffee in the morning. No, I'm just cool.
Yeah.
This is such a great episode. I'm just totally being hyperbolic, everybody. I mean, keep going.
All right. It is about seeing yourself in the act of creation, which is why you projected yourself into the lower frequencies to begin with. The energies are so slow and dense here that you can see yourself in the act of creating mastery and overcoming these obstacles that you set up for yourself. That's interesting. The concept of like almost like a time slowed down, because when there is no time, I guess you can't do this in the
Yeah.
beyond, right?
Yeah,
It's
because everything's
it's
instantaneous. That's what we've
it's
been saying. Like,
it's just there. And so here we have this like unique opportunity to self-observe, right? To observe self and as things are happening, you know. Isn't that crazy? I hadn't
yeah.
thought about that before.
So everyone knows this is a blunt I was wrong, but this is for later anyway. I just wanted to get out of the way because when Sharon's talking, sometimes when I read along, I actually get more distracted. It's funny. But
Yeah.
what I want to say though is you're right because it's like we were saying, maybe we're in this practice realm right now because when we're in the real realm, things happen instantaneously. Well, could
Yeah.
it be that we're getting ready for this energy? So when we die, and maybe it's so when you die, it's like glorious when you die without a victim narrative. It's like rainbows and unicorns and puppies, and you're just like, oh my God, right? And that's what they're trying to tell you because when you have that mindset and you're not a victim, you can handle it. So you get to go there, right? Or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's not it, but that could be allegory. And that's kind of how it feels. So, yeah, it's so crazy how.
Sorry, I had to close the window.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I get it. The weather here is it raining there?
No, no, no. It's just the people talking outside. So I don't want Zoom to catch that and interfere. You know what I mean?
We don't need to be. Listen, she's in New Jersey, guys. We don't need to be implicated in a crime. Someone's out there like, I had to whack my neighbor because he was. No, I'm just kidding. Hyperbole. I'm so glad I remembered that word because I've been saying it. Because one thing,
Hyperbolic. Yes.
one thing I realize is there are cameras fucking literally everywhere when you're walking around, especially outside and stuff. So now when I say things and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said I was going to kill a person. I'm like, I'm a comedian. It's hyperbole, everyone. I'm being hyperbolic. These are jokes. Anyway, it's probably a part of my character. It's coming through. I think I'm just going to start using those words, but I'm oversharing now. This is let's get a little more of this stuff while we have some time. Because yeah, dude.
Scroll a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think
Nothing?
I was at nothing here is an accident, right?
Yeah.
Nothing here is an accident. None of your challenges are accidents. And if you want to know what your theme, as Bashar says, I like that he quotes Bashar.
I was gonna quote Bashar 20 minutes ago when you were saying something. This is so crazy.
Nuts. If you want to know what your theme, as Bashar says, in this life is and why you incarnated, just look at the places where you've struggled the most. Look at the places that have caused you the most pain and where you've suffered the most. You are the creator of those challenges, not a victim of anything.
Yeah.
When you When you incarnated, you set out a blueprint of what you wanted to master, and then you came down here in the lower frequencies of the physical universe so you could see yourself in the act of becoming masterful and overcoming your greatest challenges. Have I read this before? I feel like I read this
Uh,
already.
Not on here, I don't think, because you didn't say.
Okay, I must have because I was reading it earlier today.
I, you know how I know this is good because I'm jealous that I didn't write it. That's the ultimate compliment. No, not just part of me.
Get
No, this.
over that jealousy. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's so. I just love that it exists. That's more of me. Love it exists. I'm just kidding. No, it's a little twinge for a minute, and then I laugh. That's why I laugh. Also because I laugh because it's so simple and it's so much truth that I'm just laughing because I'm like, man, people aren't going to be ready for this, but it's great. I not in a they're you get what I'm saying. Some people that don't like the truth, they're like, no. But yeah, it's I like it. Really well written.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll read this little bit here and then we can probably wind the episode down.
All right.
As you come into this remembrance of who you are and how masterful you've always been, this is a remembrance. You're not learning anything, you're remembering who you really are. This is like his aside moment here. But let me read that again without that little note. As you come into this remembrance of who you are and how masterful you've always been, you realize that you came here to forget who you are so you could remember who you are from a different perspective. As Bashar so eloquently says, that's why you're here. And this, what he just said about remembering who you are, forgetting who you are so you can remember who you are. It reminds me of a book that I was reading that's by Ellen Watts or about Ellen Watts's lectures where he talks about this whole concept. I think it's actually called The Book by Ellen Watts, where he's talking about like the taboo of like knowing who you really are or something like that, or the taboo of talking about or something like that. I'll find the name of the book, but
And it's funny you bring up Alan Watts because he's no now apparently he's notoriously known as a drunk and all this stuff. He was always drunk, but it's like who fucking cares, man?
I know.
And think about the there's like a vacuum there for spiritual healing that accepts whatever you do, so it's so cool. There's a need for it.
Here's the name of the book. It's called The Book on the Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are, and it's by Ellen Watts. And he talks about a story, and maybe I'll read it on the next episode, or maybe I'll read it at some other episode. But it's a really cool story that he tells, like he tells either other people or little children about why we're here. What is this all about? What is this world? What is this universe? What is it all about? And he's basically saying that, we're uh, here to remember that we forgot who we are and but we're now remembering it or something to that effect.
The reason I was like going crazy when you're talking is because Sarah G, and I usually don't look at the chat when you're talking, but I love what you said, and it's so fucking true. Sarah G said, Bukowski was a drunk. He said some brilliant shit. Sarah G, my wife's favorite poet, and she's a poet. She's a poet. Her favorite poet is Bukowski. We talked about it a little bit. So it's amazing that you brought that up because we watched a film about him, and it was like home movies with him talking and stuff. And yeah, you're right. He had some brilliant. So shout out to Sarah G. I almost got Elizabeth, and she might be. This is our separate time, so who knows what she's doing. But yeah, that's crazy that Bukowski was mentioned. So amazing. See, I mean, of all the poets you could have, or things because we are talking about drunks. Of all the drunks, right? You could have named. I knew it was a fucking sync when you reacted. Yeah, because all the drunks you could name, like who's the one who wrote the Vegas movie, right? What's his name? He was a drunk, and all these other. So many people, or Hemingway, Alan Watson, but you're like, oh, Bukowski, and I'm like, like, could it be she might have a typewriter that she writes her poetry on? I don't know. I can't make claims, but anyway, Amazing episode, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out. This has just been an amazing part of my life, and I'm glad that you guys are here to be a witness for it and to witness, all the revelations been making, and just not being a victim. Did we get to read everything you wanted to in this book, or is there more?
No, no, there's
Oh,
more. So,
so stay tuned. We'll probably talk about this again because I like the flow in this length of an episode. We're just at probably an hour and 40. I think. Let me check that. Yeah, 140. Exactly when I said that. When I said that, we were exactly at
are
140.
you sure it's been?
According to YouTube, where it says right here,
Oh,
live, it
okay.
says 140 and 13 seconds now. But anyway,
Wow.
so it's a shorter than we do when we cover whatever. But check out those episodes too, guys. They're timeless. They hold up forever. But I think in these times, especially the beginning of summer, it's the summer of oversharing. We're gonna talk about some of these sinks and what's going on. And next time you hear from me, it'll be the day after my born day if we go live next Thursday, if that's how it works out. So stay tuned, everybody. It's gonna be amazing. More laws, more problems.com is a website. Check it out there. Click on the oversharing tab. You want to be part of the Great Pyramid Scheme, make sure that you just give us one thumbs up a week, everybody. Just click that like button, subscribe if you hadn't, hit the bell. That's how you become part of the elite inner circle. On YouTube, there's a little bell you can click, and then every time we go live or do something, you'll get notified. Because sometimes I randomly go live from my car studio that appears to be a car, but I don't think you're supposed to go live when you're driving. So it just, anyway, sometimes you just get me and I'm rambling. So if you like that stuff, check it out. And yeah, just look forward for more of this stuff. Is there anything else, Sharon, you'd like to talk about before we go? I mean, any other syncs or things you want to express after reading all that stuff? We don't have, I'm not saying we have to wrap it up this second. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think there was anything else.
I just think these syncs, we did say it was going to be a mind blowing episode. So
Oh, did you say that? I didn't even remember if you had said
remember in
it.
the beginning, mine, would you say yours was
I said
mind
mind-boggling.
boggling? And I think I said, no, and I said my mind altering or something or whatever it
I don't
was.
remember what you actually said or if you said it at
You're
all.
right.
So.
I think I said boggling though, for at least for yours. Well, either way, everybody. I hope you realize we're the best darn show on the internet now. And again, we don't care. This is what when you hear somebody make the claim that they're the best darn show on the internet, you're going to be like, oh, I bet if I don't think their show's the best, they're going to be mad. No, no, we're not saying
That you should think that we're the best.
and we're also not saying we're the best show on the internet to be boastful or to brag. We're just trying to tell you that we're the kind of people we're leading. What do they call those people that are we early adopters, and we find the good stuff. So we're telling you should watch our show because this is where it's at.
But
Because
it's okay if you have
yeah,
another favorite show.
if you don't, yeah, and if you don't think it's if you don't agree with us, that's fine. If you're watching, we don't care. Oh, and again, make sure you comment if you have any questions or we want to share something that's happened recently in your life. Share in a comment and we'll talk about it. YouTube lets you leave, well, as long as comments as you want. You don't have to leave a book, but if it's a fun story or anecdote or something that happened to you, leave it. We'll read it on the podcast if it fits, especially if you're not being a victim. And listen, if you're not being a victim and you overcame some stuff, we'll talk about it. But if you're being a victim, then well, maybe we'll talk.
And if you are watching this and you've been banned in the past for being a victim, our apologies, but we just, we want this to be the best darn chat in the interwebs too. So the victim
Yeah,
comments and the victimy, stuff was just, it was throwing stuff off. So sorry about that, but we kind of had to.
yeah. We just we go forward. I don't even exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out our show this week, and we feel blessed to have you guys here and just to express our opinions. But again, morelawsmoreproblems.com is the website. And stay tuned next week for more on perhaps this topic, but you never know with the Oversharing Show. Maybe we'll come back to it in another week, and maybe next week we'll be like, hey, we found out how to turn literal lead into gold. Here you go. Then we'll get shut down. Just kidding. Thanks, everybody. What do we say to the good people, Sharon?
That once you start oversharing,
Then you totally stop over caring.
mm, that's right.
And our average view duration is at 38 minutes. And remember, everybody, despite what we've said in the past on all our episodes, we are not trying to tell you how to live your life.
But in this episode, we are reminding you that you are not a victim, you're a victor. Or let's say that you can be.
You can be. All right, everybody. Good night. Take care. Ciao.